Oh, God.
What we want to grab. All right, it's time, LD. First to buy a Blink Dagger real quick. Let's see. I would imagine old 11, but...
Bat Rider for sure.
Bat Rider, yes. All right, let's see. Player with highest net worth by 25 minutes. I'm going to go with Ice. You think the same?
Yeah,
yep.
I agree.
Player with the longest kill streak.
That's a tough one.
I'd say Sven or the Bat Rider, honestly.
No faith in Execration?
Maybe Abed, potentially.
I think it's a tough jug game, to be honest. I would probably go with Warlock.
Okay. And then 25 minutes, total number of teleports canceled by stun. Let's just go with 3+.
3+.
3+.
Surely.
All right, we got that out of the way. Predictions ready to go, and we're jumping into the game. The Smoke of Deceit coming out from Execration, and they will spot Fenrir. There's going to be the magic missile. He's got the Icarus dive away, and he will make it out, but the arrow hits perfectly under the tower, and they should be able to get this kill. And then they will grab him and get first blood going the way of Execration.
What a snipe there. Chemo coming in with the big follow-up. They get the first blood. More importantly, EHOME don't have vision over their own jungle now, so Ice will try to creep out. They get the ward down. I don't think this was something that he actually saw getting placed because it was around the tree line, but he knows they're in the area. He may expect this. And running a Phoenix support, this is a very level-dependent support as well, just like the Warlock when Fenrir plays it. So denying him his early experience could be quite big. This is also going to give Chemo, I think even more importantly, better arrow setup. So now you've got a Slardar Mirana, no reliable setup for the arrow, but if he can hit them, Slardar could definitely follow up for a kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of aggression in that lane, and they're going to have to be careful down in this bottom lane. I mean, Ice with Warcry later on down the road. Fenrir should be okay with Icarus dive to get away if anything else happens, but it's the other lanes I'm actually interested in. Old Chicken, the mid-Warlock going up against Abed. He's already going to throw in the Fatal Bonds, and this is a matchup I'm looking forward to. It's not something you see very often. And
this is not going to be a fun lane for Jug.
Yeah, I think so. You can already see he's taking a lot of damage just from right-clicking Fatal Bonds alone.
I mean, Warlock can trade quite well with most ranged heroes, and playing against a melee hero like the Jug, if he doesn't get help, he is going to lose out in terms of CS. Old Chicken, you can already see, constantly going in for the poke damage here and there. Mirana, meanwhile, is going to move, but there's only a Radiant Hill Ward, so she actually has quite a bit of freedom to take a shot at mid as Chemo lets an arrow fly, only steals a small Wild Wing here.
One of the big Wild Wing Ripper, more than likely. All right, the Eyes Peeled will be down at the bottom lane because it looks like action might happen at any time Icarus dive. In fact, Chemo might be in trouble.
No leap. They already know he's skilled up arrow. He has not gotten level 2 yet. Can Fenrir finish the job? Beats the tree, has the boots advantage, so he should be okay. But this will force him off the lane.
Hey, Chemo's just too fast with boots, like you mentioned. No boots for Fenrir with the Icarus dive only lasting a bit of time. This slow, obviously, it's just not enough to bring him down. Good effort, though. It's going to force at least him back for a little bit of time and just try to regen up. But top lane is where we haven't really talked about. It's Nando on the Weaver going up against Old 11, Lanham, and Tim, of course, on the Execration side. Nando is going to get caught with an Ignite, but they have detection. They have 1 Sentry for the Ogre Magi, and that's it at this point in time.
You wanted to say McGee, didn't you?
I did. I really did.
The spirit of Kano Guy lives on.
Yeah.
Or should I say Model Guy. But this is a good lane for Weaver. Really benefits a lot from the Napalm spam as it enables his own Sakuchi spam. If you don't die early, you'll be fine because the cooldown on Sakuchi scales very well. So you go for, as far as the uptime goes, by the time it hits level 4, he's in great shape. And he'll get that in relatively short order. I think the bigger worry is if the Venge gets caught out. That's a hero that will be defenseless if the Ogre gets onto her. Has the Windlace already picked up. But nice Star Ward here. Scouts out Old Lanham. Moving in. Yeah. By the way, have you noticed the old creep?
Yeah.
On EHOME? It started off with just an old chicken.
Yeah.
And now it's an old 11, an old Lanham. When are we going to see old Ice?
The old boys. They're coming back. They're making an appearance.
Forget about the sad boys. The sad boys are so 2015.
Yeah, it's all about the old boys.
It's all about the old boys here at the International.
And, I mean, they are. I mean, they do have a lot of experience, with Lanham obviously being one of the most experienced players in all of Dota. So, I mean, and on top of that, obviously, Ice has been a part of so many top teams and plays so well in a lot of the TI's past. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs. And right now, Ice is sitting at 12 CS. You can look at the last hits right now, and EHOME is leading the way. Still kind of close at this point in time. It's pretty even.
I'm pretty worried for Execration, though. They're starting to fall behind in CS here. They're running a roaming Mirana. They got 1 kill with Chemo, but now he's abandoned the bottom lane. This is going to make it a lot more tricky for RR, who could go back for the Iron Talon, go to the jungle, but then you're just enabling the Phoenix to get easy levels, so you don't really want to do that. Ice is free farming, and as we talked about strategically, like the big picture here is EHOME are running a push-centric 5-man lineup in the mid-game.
Yeah.
Execration do not have good deep push. Their split push is very mediocre. Weaver, yes, hard to gank, but doesn't push the waves fast, so can't really put a lot of side lane pressure. So I think Execration are definitely the team right now that there's more pressure on them to make moves. They are the ones that have to get more done in the laning stage, and despite the nice start with the first blood, the slow, steady pace getting gradually out farm will come back to haunt them if they don't make it.
Bottom lane, Stormhammer, there's the Sunrays. Will R, body block, good slithering crush to get him out of trouble in the sprint away. Icarus dive comes through. Will he burn to death? I think he should be okay, though.
Stick charges, has the salve as well. Should be absolutely fine. Meanwhile, top lane, old 11. They were looking for that stun from Tim's, but couldn't quite get in range. As Abed will make his way down to this bottom rune, a 3-hero group up. Looks like he may be bottling up some teammates. Give me that juice. Says Chemo.
I thought they were going to go for something there, but I agree with exactly what you said. They need to do stuff, and Chemo has really only had that one kill, which is exactly what you talked about earlier. I mean, he needs to find more.
Oh, Lanham going for the courier snipe up top. He wants to club this thing.
And
is he going to find it? Bam!
Beautiful.
Pow right in the kisser.
And while that's happening, they were setting up for an arrow mid. Chemo is still looking for it. No vision here on the Radiant side to see this, but Old Chicken's positioning is great. Arrow came through, and it's going to hit a ranged creep, and Old Chicken now just backs away. Abed's going to blade through the creep wave, and he's taking so much
he doesn't have boots
damage
here. They might be able to run him down. He drops the healing ward, though, and takes the right path to make it out of there. You know, Mott, the courier had already been hit once by Lanham down in the river before that happened, so I have to say, a little sloppy by Execration. The safe move is definitely sending it up above the tree line. It only takes like an extra half-second or so to micro it out of the way, but a little bit lazy there, and it does come back to hurt them. So now we settle into the mid-game, or not the mid-game, but the tail end of the laning stage where EHOME are free farming on all 3 cores. We're not seeing kills come out. This is not looking great for Execration.
Oh, they're going to use the Chaotic Offering. They come in with Ignite as well. Abed is in trouble. No Omni Slash. They should be able to bring him down. In fact, they will.
They force out the TP on Tim's. That's just going to enable Old 11 further on this top lane. All 3 lanes settling down into a great setup for EHOME.
This is looking really good. Arrows coming through. They dodge it nicely by sidestepping. They back away. Chemo's going to walk out of the tree line, but Ice is not afraid at this point. Building up either the armlet or the helm of the Dominator. Either choice is fine at this point for Ice. I don't know if you really want to take it late.
Oh, Lanham wants to flank this one. He finds RR.
They even bring the Chaotic Offering Warlock home. Did not expect that to come through, and that's going to allow for this tower push to be even easier.
And mid lane, the stun into the Blade Fury, but Abed still no boots. I think Old Chicken might just be able to creep his way out of this one. The heal,
there's no way.
Jukes. This chicken just won't die. He's tough, he's rubbery, and he is not an easy snap.
Oh, they have the haste rune. Does he have another match? He does, but he doesn't go for it. He doesn't have the damage to bring him down. The TP coming in though, bottom lane, Chemo arrow. He's going to hit up. Won't be able to get the last CS as of course the golem does go down. Ice. Looking for a Stormhammer, but doesn't have the mana for it. And so that'll be the end of the bottom tier 1 tower. And they're just getting away, I think, right now. EHOME are barely scraping by in a lot of these engagements, but they are winning these engagements, getting these kills, making sure they can survive in those circumstances like Old Chicken in that mid lane. And they're doing very well right now, LD.
EHOME really, you see the Warlock pick, you know 5-man's coming, especially with the Sven already, especially with the way EHOME have been drafting in quite a few of the recent games. Like they didn't expect it necessarily up until that point, but you saw the Death Prophet 5th ban. So Execration already had an idea there was a push lineup coming. I think they're expecting more out of the laning stage from their Mirana pick. They got the first blood. It's been very quiet since. So now heading towards the mid game and the end of the laning stage. This is where EHOME are looking for the Blink Dagger and the Bat Rider. They're looking for levels on the supports. Fenrir closing on level 6. Every time the Warlock ult is up, expect EHOME to try to find a kill into a tower.
Tim's is going to get lassoed. 3 sticky napalm charges, and he'll burn to death as he doesn't get vision of Old 11. He just sits there and finds himself a pick off.
He's looking
Arrow's
for more.
Gonna be missed as well. Is it TP out?
Should be absolutely fine. Nothing to cancel it. And then Ogre comes right in. It's clubbing time, Lanham says. And looks to get his levels here. The Midas already grabbed on Old Chicken. A very fast clip for the Warlock. And he hasn't exactly rushed either. Stopped off for the Bassi, the Null Tally, and the Boots. So
right now,
how to Execration find kills? That to me is the big question right now. You have to slow down the 5-man group up.
I don't know if you bring Nando in. Honestly, he does have treads. He has a wand and he's a Aquila, but you don't want to bring in your Weaver generally too early. Again, you can get caught by one of those lassos, by some of those disables, and you could be caught out rather easily. So it's, again, that arrow maybe a slithering crush, but RR has had a pretty rough time. He's only died once, but he's not been getting much CS out of this bottom lane, I don't believe.
It goes back to that early skirmish where Mirana got driven out of the lane, and already it's going to be a disadvantage lane. Phoenix is just a better zoning support. Slardar can't really scratch Sven even from the early levels, and certainly not once he gets a point in Warcry. So you have to find the arrow setup into a stun, and barring that, you're just going to lose the lane.
Rotation's topple at 11s here with Nando, and they're looking to be able to kill this Weaver, but when they're going to get that Blink Dagger, and that's when you have that go time on Weaver to be able to bring him down and get that last hope as quickly as possible.
Somebody needs to be getting this experience mid for Execration. Abed went to the jungle, nobody laning there, and the map is a bit dark right now. With whenever the Ogre's missing here, you have to be worried about the Warlock ult into a stun, and then suddenly your Jug is likely to die, especially lacking the mana, but for a Blade Fury. But in good news, top lane, they make their move. Arrow coming through. Oh, splits the wickets.
They will throw up an Ignite, but that's going to be dodged nicely by Chemo, just leaping away. Still coming in his old 11, just trying to push them back. Right now, it's 2 versus 3, as Execration have 3 heroes nearby, and a 4th and 5th rotating
They're
in.
going deep, but little do they know, 5 Execration heroes are swarming in. Hey, old Lanham. He's done for.
Yeah,
the question is, does old 11 make it out? Has the teleport, has a Firefly available, still running. Space created, though, is bottom lane. Ice is making his way out, but RR is on the chase, just needs that one crush into an amp.
2,000 gold, don't lose it. Now they're going to find it with this Slithering Crush. The amp damage comes out, the Starstorm will finish him off, and he's going to go down.
Sloppy play by EHOME. And that was, they had no vision on any heroes except the ones they were chasing. Still commit for it. They do get some chip damage on the bottom lane. They are still farming the Warlock and the Sven, so it's not a total disaster. Even Fenrir managed to stack Ancients during this time for the side of EHOME, but all things considered, those are kills you do not want to be giving away.
Especially to Nando as well. I mean, he's starting to get up there now in terms of net worth, right? He was 4th a little while ago. He's now eclipsed that of the Batrider by bringing him down and jumping over him.
Oh, look at Chemo. He's like, hey, are there any Ancients here? Old Chicken says, get the hell out.
That damage
what are
is
you
insane.
thinking?
The right click, not to mention the Shadow Ward doing some decent dish. And so he'll back up, and it looks like they might smoke up here. Chemo is going to die to the Shadow Ward near the tier 2 tower. I was talking about decent damage. I didn't think he was actually going to go down to it.
Yeah, leveling up the Fatal Bonds. This spell used to be the bane of every support player's existence. Don't really see too much Warlock from most teams, but already the point booster Mott. It looks like an early Ags is likely in the making as he grabs the staff. They're going to set up bottom. They look for the Ice kill. Teleport scrolls available on 3 EHOME heroes, but one of those is Ice, so he's likely in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to Warcry and run. They might just leave him, but the TPs are going to come through. Stormhammer onto 2 right now. He's got no mana for the God Strike. The Omni Slash will clean him up. But here's the Golem, David.
Healing Ward. Abed doesn't have the mana for it. The team really needs it now as Tim's will drop. Nando on the way out, but they've got vision. They stun him. He time-lapses. He heads to the south. He does have a teleport available, but he's got to find a way out of this. Even the Phoenix ain't committed.
They have lasso.
They don't have the vision.
They didn't have vision?
Sakuchi's just out of tower range, and they didn't have detection.
I was sure they were going to get that kill, but I was like, where's the lasso? You have lasso. Use your lasso. They didn't have the dust. Out of tower range. Beautifully played to get out of that bad situation.
He Sakuchi'd, and during the fade time, he TP'd there. That was very impressive from Nando. And
they're going to go again.
That's a Warlock goal, and they don't take an objective. EHOME want to be using the Rock for towers. Just getting kills, especially just a support kill, that's not acceptable. And Execration say it's time for Roche.
Yeah, like you said, with Warlock Golem now down, Supernova down as well, they could take over Roshan right now. It's a bit dangerous. This is where the Blink Dagger is going to come out from EHOME's old 11. So they have that going for them. He can easily Firefly and Blink for a lasso target, but that's not going to happen. Execration, they smoke once, they find a couple of kills. They smoke again, they find Roshan. They drop some wards down in the process, and all of a sudden, Nando's getting up there again in top worth, now picking up the Aegis as well.
I do like this play by EHOME. They recognize very unlikely we can contest Roche, lacking the Phoenix Egg. I mentioned the Warlock ult, but also the Phoenix Egg, so their team fight very weak at this stage. Yeah, they had Batrider Blink, but they also didn't have good vision around the pit, so I like the call by EHOME here. Let's just slow the game down. We still have the stronger 5-man lineup unless farm is completely out of control in Execration's favor. Have Ice push the top lane. We're still stacking Ancients, as you can see. He's now up to, I believe it's a quad stack, and looking for the quintuple here.
Yeah, this is a bit hard to do, but if they can get it.
That damn
just barely.
dragon.
Yeah.
So fat. So derpy.
It was very close to the spawn box as well, so the Black Dragon is going to be a nuisance, and unfortunately they won't get it. But Old Chicken now with his Midas off cooldown, ready to go and get up that Aghanim Scepter. Is very close as we talked about. He's 700 gold away, less than 700 gold, as they'll try to put some pressure onto this tier 1 tower. They don't really care about the Aegis, or at least that's what it seems like. Nando does not yet have his Lincoln Sphere, and that's maybe the go time for Execration to try to defend this, but they'll at least send 3.
As we talked about, though, they're just a very weak tower defense lineup. And EHOME actually pushing before the Warlock ult comes up. A little bit risky to do so as Nando moves in. Oh, complete swing and a miss there on the Swarm. And the Swarm is actually important. This is probably their best spell to discourage a push. You don't want that minus armor to set in too much, and then you get suddenly swapped, crushed, and amped, and just die in a quarter of a second. So with the Swarm down, with the Warlock ult up, EHOME will move in.
Yeah, they're going to back up and give this away, and I don't blame them. However, they have found Ice. Does have Warcry, he's got his God Strength, they'll come through, they pop the Swarm, he's going to try to chase him down, but really it's just Nando at this point. Ice can turn and just stun and
meanwhile, bottom lane, Chemo going to get caught out here. Old 11 on the hunt, there's no Moonlight Shadow available. He has the TP, but there's ways to cancel it. Chemo will roast. It's Mirana for dinner, and meanwhile, top lane, they did manage to run down Ice.
Yeah, with
actually
the Blink Dagger.
The bigger kill.
That's huge for them. That's a huge pickup. That's one of the top net worth heroes going down again, and Nando is again involved. This guy has been involved in 5 kills right now.
Moving in mid, they're ready to go on Tim's with the Sunray to start, but the crush connects on 2. They got to be careful about this Warlock ult though. Healy Ward coming in, they drop the rock, but Abed micros the ward nicely. The Sven, or sorry, not the Sven, the Slardar will get caught out, crushed, unable to save him. So they get a double kill out of that. And they're at a tower, they can transition here into a push.
Yeah. So they lose Ice, but that is a great team fight coming out. They burn down Vengeful Spirit just with Fatal Bond, Shadow Word, and all the damage there. And of course, they can now look towards maybe even pushing bottom as well, as that's where they're headed towards at this point. They don't want to go for the tier 2 tower push mid, understandably so. They'd like to be bottom instead and look for more aggression and try to take away that Roche control, that map control for Execration.
Nando getting just buried here by the Pulverize and the Flaming Fist.
He didn't even have enough
He might actually go down.
Oh my god, he's going to die to the Firefly, and that's just the Aegis gone. Luckily, he has that.
Had 2 minutes left. That's an early loss in the Aegis. It means basically no chance we see Execration team fighting when the ultimates are up for EHOME. So I think for Execration now, the big concern is can they push the side lanes and just generally split push fast enough to prevent this EHOME group up. Because every time the Warlock ult is up, if they can find a kill, great. But even if they just drop the rock to secure tower, that is going to just continue to wind the clock down until they're able to breach the high ground. At this point, Echo Saber arrives for Ice. Despite the death earlier, despite not really being too active or involved in engagements, he is farming exceptionally well.
Ooh, they missed the Slithering Crush. Ice also picks up a haste, and that would have been another huge pick. Ice would have gone down for a second time in like 2 minutes, and that's just not enough time for him to farm. I think he would like to be a little bit higher in his net worth, but with, of course, the ancient stack going down. He did take the ancient stack. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's up to 8,000 net worth now with the Echo Sabers you talked about. BKB more than likely is going to be next, I think. I'm not sure, probably.
BKB is not like an auto-win type of item because there is so much minus armor, but still, with a lot of stuns on Execration, this will allow him to be a beefy frontliner. And you have to imagine this guy getting constantly healed up by Sunray, potentially by the Warlock, Max Shadow Word. He's going to be very tanky in the front lines.
And that's really what we've seen from EHOME so far. When they're getting caught out and picked off 1 by 1, that's where they're at their weakest. But when they're playing together as a team as 5, with their abilities, and you have to imagine with all of these ultimates, they can crush a team fight.
Here comes the smoke from EHOME. They're moving in.
No
Old 11 out in front.
Seconds, though. They don't have Golem for that amount of time.
And he's going to actually get jumped. Quick crush to start. The amp to follow, but the Sunray comes in. Can they focus him down? The Blade Fury is not enough. Old 11 healed up, kept alive.
And they have the lasso, they'll bring down the Juggernaut first. Abed Tibbs is going to be next. Great flame break, TP cancel. They have the upheaval as well to slow down more. Nando getting caught still. That's going to be the Lincoln Sphere broken. He's going to get away, though, in time. The amplified damage is up on Old 11. He doesn't want to dive too deep, and it's a 2-for-nothing trade. They don't even need the Golem, LD. They're just going to go straight down to mid now as well.
They might save it to go high ground, Mod. This is a big worry for Execration. How do they stop the push? The Mirana Ags for Chemo is not ready yet. They have just completed only a Lincoln Sphere on the Weaver. He doesn't have the right-click damage to try to split push with, say, a Desolator, for example, nor are the waves shoved out or not. If EHOME want to play the safe, they go tier 2 bottom. If they're feeling bold, they could strike straight down the mid lane.
I mean, when we talked about it, there's not even that Battle Fury for the Juggernaut. They don't really have any ways to clear the creeps out.
Battle Fury?
Yeah, I mean, like, he has no farm, really, at all. So, not even to think about Battle Fury, to think about any item. He's only got a Blade of Alacrity. This is one of Abed's worst performances, honestly. If you look at his net worth right now, he's below that of the off-lane Bat Rider for Old 11. He's really struggled this game, and comes down to the laning phase,
I
too.
really think they were expecting something like the Dragon Knight mid for Old Chicken. You see that Warlock pick. You're just not expecting it to be a core. It's EHOME running it almost exclusively as a support for Fenrir. This does catch Execration off guard in the draft, and they scramble to react from here. The BKB now complete on Sven. Items piling in for EHOME as they continue to mount their advantage. Suddenly a 10k gold lead, but top lane.
He's going to get caught. Arrows, Slithering Crush. They hit it perfectly. Do they have the damage? Even with amp damage on, no, they finally put it on. Still doing a lot of damage here. There's the God Strike. Nano needs to be careful. There's the bash, and he will end up falling. So
no TP on Old Chicken, Mott. If he had one, I think they just immediately rotate top. They turn that fight, and Execration lose 3, but fortunately for them, Warlock was not ready.
Old 11 will pick up an Aether Lens. It's flying out as we speak. We talked about the BKB for Ice, so at least it doesn't lose that much money with the death. They're going to blink, they're going to find a lasso, and Tim's is going to be brought to the high ground near the Secret Shop. The Flame Break, he's in trouble. Sunray, they will bring him down first. Nara will back away with the rest of his team, it looks like.
Lanham running in directly into 3 heroes, but he gets amped. He is scared off a bit. Reinforcements are coming in. Old Chicken's ready to go. Lanham surges forward, and Old 11 continues pursuit, but the Firefly ends. It'll be tough for EHOME to find another pick, but Lanham forced that forward, gets the multicast. Here we go.
First dive in. They're looking for the lasso. It's on cooldown, but still the Firefly as well as the sticking napalm. More than enough to do enough damage. And the upheaval, slowing him to a crawl. They don't care about sprint. You're going to die one way or another with that upheaval.
Nando, though. He says, screw it. I'm going to backstop for your tier 1. Just bypasses the wave. So he gets what gold he can for the team.
He has been dusted.
But
the
he
TP,
may pay.
They have the Flame Break, and he's going to have to use his time lapse to stay alive. And he's going to just have to Shikuchi out, but they're all kind of blocking off the exits here.
Can they isolate him, bring him down? Ice doesn't have the detection. Nando makes the right move to escape, but EHOME go back to the Ancient stack now. So Ice clearing out, I believe, his second of the game.
Yes.
This is a huge influx of gold for EHOME, and despite a few blunders as far as pickoffs go, they've kept the farm up. They had the superior lane matchups, and we're seeing Execration get punished now with their inability to stop the push. I'm not sure how they adapt at this point. Juggernaut not going for Blade Fury, can't really keep up in farm with a Sven. Even if he does, Jug needs to be ahead. Yeah. Sven will win that matchup if they're even, because Warcry completely counters Omni Slash in a vacuum. So it's not looking great for Execration right here, Mott.
I mean, at this point, you're looking forward to Chemo Zags more than anything that Abed's going to pick up. And he's actually pretty close. Point Booster, Ogre Club, Blade of Alacrity, he's getting there. That Aghanim Scepter might be enough for Execration, or at least it'll help them. I mean, with how far Abed is behind, it's very tough for them to team fight at this point. And just look at the net worth lead at this point is 10,000 for EHOME at 21 minutes into the game. And really all they have to do is just secure their next couple of items. They even picked up a gem coming out, which they have on the Batrider as well. So they're going to play this safely, maybe wait for Roshan and try to push high ground at that point.
It's a systematic game plan from EHOME. Win the lanes, push your towers, secure map control now. That's step 3. They grab the gem on Old 11. They will clear out the high ground hill ward, and here we go. Going for the base break. They already have a max bloodlust, and Old 11 creeps in on the right. Can they find that lasso?
They see Old 11. They know that he's there. The swarm will come through the arrow as well, so he's going to back up and avoid it, but Ice is still in the front
swarm
lines.
on the creep wave here. EHOME can continue their siege. They just bought a blink on the Sven, but he's not been delivered yet. Wonder if they want to wait for that. He's going to sell it and rebuy it from the side shop.
He's buying it from the side shop. That's funny. I like that. And so it's going to be there pretty quickly, too, but they're just sieging at this point now, LD.
Mott, you can't swap out everyone. If they get hit by Warlock ult into a multi-hero Sven stun, they will just get cleaved to bits.
Oh my lord, the damage to God's Strength. They have the lasso. Can they bring him down in time? They can. He does have buyback, and he might have to use it, LD.
Tim's roasting the Phoenix Egg. Oh, just barely missing him with the Blast Zone. But what does Tim's do? He's too low to go in. He wants to help out. Old 11, Flame Break will get the kill. Tim's is down, and more Execration heroes to follow, getting wiped and cleaned up. Juggernaut, a futile effort now. He'll be next on the list if he sticks around, and forced to spin his way back. Another buyback, but EHOME, I think, honestly, if they want to play it safe, they can just back off and look for Roshan, but they might find more kills.
Abed, what are you doing walking up there? The Slithering Crush will come through and stop Old Chicken, but Chemo coming in with the Starstorm, doing some nice damage against Old Chicken, but it's not enough. Nando, he just bought back. He's low. The time lapse will save his life for the time being. Steel, then we're cheering everyone up. Now the Slithering Crush coming through. Starstorm on top. Everyone's so low.
Can Chemo be the hero here? The Marana eggs. It might be the turnaround item they need. 3 heroes about to follow the Phoenix, trying to make it out. Arrow's gonna snipe him. It's Chemo to the rescue for Execration.
Just like that, I thought Execration might have been going a little too hard, trying to go for that fight out of the base, but Chemo with the consistent
they're
damage.
hunting
They're
old
not
11, makes it out, just will barely survive.
They didn't have the swarm vision. He had already used it, and I don't think it caught onto the Bat Rider. He's able to TP away, so that's the one hero to survive. But that is a almost 5,000 gold swing, I believe, coming the way of Execration. That is a lot of gold. 1,300 from Lorana. She can start building to that Ethereal Blade, Shiva's Guard, whatever. But at least they get back into the game, although they have to use a lot of buybacks to do so.
They can go Roche now, potentially, as well. There is EHOME vision here. But Warlock ult is a long cooldown mod, 80 seconds without it. The Phoenix Egg, sure it's up soon, but you really want the combo to win these team fights. So Execration transition from a 4-hero wipe into a tier 1, now into a Roshan. This game is about to be even as far as gold goes. And as the game goes later, I think Execration actually can take fights. It's the early to mid game where they struggle before they can split push effectively.
Yes.
Before they have their items, but they have physical damage burst. They do have an answer for the Bat Rider Lasso with swap. If Tim's can get an Aether Lens, get his level 2 swap, they're not out of it yet.
And Chemo's really stepping up, and we talked about that Starstorm. That consistent damage over that last team fight, and he just had to get a couple of Starstorms to do the job, and I don't think EHOME were really expecting that to happen at the beginning of that fight. So
I mean, I look at the draft and the hero matchups, the way the lanes developed. I feel like game plan wise, EHOME had the clearly superior game plan, barring an explosive Mirana laning stage. Execration had really no way to stop pushes, but then you look at some of the individual mistakes and overextensions here as they're going to move on to Ice 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 on the top side of the map. They have the Moonlight Shadow, and they will pursue even further. He moves into the trees. He's forced to BKB.
They have bash.
Can they get the bash? Ice Ice Ice.
Oh,
he
he
gets
gets it! The amplified damage, and he is going to fall.
Again, Ice 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 getting picked off, brought down, and there is no trade. It's sloppy play here from EHOME. This is a veteran squad. All of these players experienced on the biggest of stages. They are not playing that way, Maud.
No.
Execration has them reeling.
It looked so good, and you talked about it. It was a methodical game plan for them. It was to take down towers, push their advantage. Maybe they tried pushing that bottom lane a little bit too quickly, and now it looks like they're starting to hurt from it. And you look at the net worth graph just swing down in favor of Execration. It's still going EHOME's way by 4,000, but that is minimal compared to the advantage they had earlier on in this game.
And Execration looking to snowball this. They smoke. They dive deep into the Radiant Woods.
Some good wards as well.
Setting up to take this tier 2 top. Does EHOME defend? It's tempting, but they see old chicken. Do they jump? They swap him in. They crush him up and they disintegrate him. What a pick.
I'm not sure about the Yamini. It's a little bit of overkill, I feel like, but they get the kill and nonetheless.
There's no buyback on the Warlock. They can go high ground.
53. They might be able to take this. They have the Desolator as well on Nando, so the Ring Crush coming. It's going to miss. Now there's the Stormhammer as well.
No
They
swap.
might be able to bring him down. RR is in trouble. Still, the Sunray, yes, it will do the job. And now, just because he's a little bit too deep, a little bit too aggressive, Execration have to back up because of that.
Still, they get the tier 2 and they get the pick on the Warlock, and more importantly, EHOME are playing defense. This is the lineup that wants to be deathballing at you with a Sven in front, being healed by a Sunray, dropping the Warlock ult to set up a Phoenix Egg, just throwing the Bloodlust on the Sven so he can hit towers harder. They have not broken base at 27 minutes. This was not the EHOME timing. This is not the game plan. Overall, Execration still in control, but a bit of a blunder there by the Slardar. If swap is up, I think you can definitely go for that play, and if you miss, it's no big deal, but unfortunately, swap was on cooldown.
Yeah, RR with that aggressive play is dead still for 19, and still Aegis is up on Nando, so they can continue to be aggressive. It's just you have to be worried about that Warlock Golem. I think he's building Refresher as we speak. Ice Ice Ice, Nando has found him. Needs some help though with the Warcry coming through. He has some decent armor, but here comes the rest of the reinforcements for EHOME LD.
Do they want to commit everything here on a Weaver's Lincolns? I'm not sure about that. With a swap behind him as well. Oh, they're going to go for it, though.
They have that forced lasso into a death from Nando. They get the Aegis, and that will at least push them back for the time being.
The worry here for Execration is if they group up to defend the Weaver, potentially EHOME could take a team fight with all their ultimates. But they decide to play it safe. They will back away. They wanted the clean pick on the Aegis, and they get it.
He broke the Lincoln Sphere. He still has time lapse. They're playing footsie in this top lane, staring at each other down. The arrow will come through. Sail in and not catch anybody. It's a little too far off. And now here's the Moonlight Shadow. Vision-wise, EHOME don't see this coming.
Lanham, that's not the ideal here to initiate on. They are going to find the Ogre, but he's a tanky support. Do they really want to go on him? Meanwhile, Nando, stun, will be blocked here by the Lincolns. Another arrow coming in. It connects. It's on Fenrir. That's a big hero to burst.
Ice coming in. BKB. RR gets another stun. Force for Fenrir. Nando has to use the time-lapse already. They get off the Warlock Golems, and now Chemo has to leap away, and that might actually just be the end of it, LD.
Well, they're going to look to disengage, but if they don't get kills with the Warlock Ultimate, this is a win for Execration. They find one. The Purge on the Ice. BKB on cooldown. Omni Slash coming through. They slice him up.
That's going to be Ice down to Abed, who is struggling early on, but now providing that damage. Lanham's going to get chopped up as well, and Nando will find Fenrir. No, he'll be able to leap away with that.
Fenrir, though, in trouble. Nando in hot pursuit. Abed looking to bring him down, and the plink of the Deso finds the kill.
Last was coming in on the other side. They're going to at least get RR here. Slithering Crush. Now he's caught out, and he's going to take some right-click flame break to push him forward.
They're going to get team wipe mod. Old Chicken looking for the TP. Is there any way to cancel it? There is a Diffusal Blade, but no stun, so they disengage. They lose their golems. They do not even take the tier 2 tower. EHOME are self-destructing. That
was a bloodbath as well. Execration also lost 3 heroes on top of that, but the amount of money they're getting out of these fights is still more than EHOME. If it was an even trade, maybe it'd be a little bit close, but 3 for 4, taking down Ice first. The Omni Slash, the Diffusal Blade, the Manta Style. Abed has caught back up. He's third in net worth right now. Nando, as you talked about, has got a BKB coming out as we speak. They'll take down the second to last tier 2 tower for EHOME.
EHOME are just, they have lost all their momentum here. Old Chicken still trying to complete the refresher orb, and we're now 30 minutes in. With the pace he was on, he could have easily had this like 24 to 25 minutes in, if not for the deaths, the lost team fights, the lack of Roshan control down the stretch. The wheels are coming off, and I think looking late game, this gets to a point where Execration are running a lineup that scales incredibly well with 3 right-click heroes. You've got a Mirana who can be the magic damage, and potentially this team can have the late game. I think a bit of a worry for Execration, though, is RR. Very low on the farm department. Doesn't have a BKB anytime soon. He could just get blown up in team fights by Cleave. So it's got to be these kind of scrappy engagements for Execration. Bait out the cooldowns, the Sven BKB and the 2 big ultimates, and then take the fight, or just find a pick to start it. But with a slaughter this under farm, they are lacking that reliable initiator.
Yeah, RR is going to have that extra mobility, though, coming out with the Force Staff very soon. In fact, he has it now. Just purchased, so he is going for no mobility, not that right-click type of build that you'll see on Slaughter as played in the safe lane with Armlet. So, yeah, he is going to be lacking in that right-click damage for sure, and we'll see what he can accomplish with a good stun. But there is going to be the Moonlight Shadow and the smoke from EHOME at the same time, and this is right before Roche spawns, or at least
potentially could. Yeah,
8 minutes.
Just about a minute off here before the earliest possible respawn as EHOME will defend their house, their own jungle. Execration unable to find a pick during this time, but it's going to move deeper, creeping through the Radiant Woods. Do they find a pick? They really want to burst someone early or just not take the fight, but a Radiant Scan is going to get the jump here on Execration.
They're going to see it. Old 11's Firefly pretty soon should get the
job. But
they
have a Hill Ward.
Yeah, they jump in, they find Ice. There's the last of the counter initiate. RR getting caught out. BKB swap back. Now there's the Golems on the ground, but they have the Omni Slash going, and Old Bottom is in trouble.
They're going to have to back away. Sven BKB will end. Nando just finding the pickoffs and cutting them nicely. Tim's with the TP out. Oh, Old Chicken. He's going to drop the kaboom. Not in time. Ice. Oh, the time lapse. He prevents the damage. Makes it out. Getting out fought here, Mott.
Yeah, they really just have too much mobility, too much damage, and Old 11 will find all of that with Chemo coming in with the Starstorm. Now it's a Blink Dagger. It is a 4-0 that Hill Ward ends up winning them the engagement.
That's all right. The Golems will win the rest of the fights. Slaughter gets massacred. Death by the Fire Beasts. Chemo will snag the gem.
Yeah, if they could have picked up that gem, it would have been, all right, maybe there's something to work on. But now they're just pushing in. Nando trying to force out buybacks.
They know the cooldowns are down. Execration playing the matchup beautifully here. They may not get racks, but they will chip, and they will do a lot of damage. That tier 3 tower top also dropping low. Jug forced back. Weaver moving forward, but they have the healing ward mod. This could be 1, maybe 2 lanes of racks if EHOME can't hold.
Going to be in trouble there. Get the swap back on Lanham. He's going to get caught, and 2 chops from Abed bring him down instantly.
Gods was right. Gods was right. Nobody believed in Execration. I think every single analyst we spoke to, every player I talked to said, including myself, said this is an easy 2-0 for EHOME. They are the favorites, much as Execration can bring a great Meepo player to the table. As as much as you want to believe in this team, they're struggling even to beat SEA teams that didn't make it here. EHOME are the favorites, but they're getting outplayed.
Yeah.
Execration now with one lane of Rax and an exposed top lane in the driver's seat. They are dire side with an easy Roshan lineup. This is their game to lose now. But one bad fight against the Golems and the Egg, if comboed correctly, could turn it. EHOME not entirely out of it yet. But this is not where they expected to be after the way these lanes began. That's for damn sure.
Moonlight Shadow's going to come out waiting for Roche to respawn. It's going to be in 25 seconds. We'll see that big bad boy up. And look at that net worth graph just swing drastically in favor of Execration. And you're absolutely right, LD. Nobody thought that Execration really even had a chance in this series, but they're proving right now in this first game that they can at least take one off of EHOME and play at their level. You talked about EHOME's mistakes. They've made a lot of them, but Execration have done very well. And I think going back to that fight down to the bottom lane with Chemo's Ag Scepter on the Mirana, that's when it all turned around for Execration. They've started to get where they needed to be in terms of damage.
It's just been generally sloppy play from EHOME. You look at that, that was probably the key turning point in the game, but even going back earlier when EHOME were diving the dire jungle with 2 heroes, with all Execration heroes either off the map or being chased, they got swarmed on by 5, they gave up 2 kills, and then Ice, repeated individual deaths. A bit unlucky the one time where he got bashed on the second hit. As far as RNG goes, that shouldn't happen more often than not, but still, it's just, this is not the polished play you expect from a veteran team, and Execration have taken advantage, and now a fresh Aegis. They move forward bottom lane. They have a butterfly on Nando. This is a big grab. Looking at EHOME, they already struggle to burst him. Now it's going to be even tougher.
Yeah, no MKBs even in sight. In fact, they're building into a Chrysalis for Ice.
Your standard Sven build, but unfortunately this is a matchup where you need to burst the Weaver. If you don't, he's going to get swapped out, healed up by the Jug healing ward, time-lapse it off, Sakuchi away. He will escape. And then you have to reset, and you've got no big ultimates to work with.
I mean, they have the control if they can break that Lincoln Sphere. Starting off with a Golem stun, on with the maybe use a Force Staff to break the Lincoln Sphere, get off a Stormhammer into a Lasso. The Lasso, if you get the Lasso, maybe you could bring Nando down. But again, he's got 2 lives. He has the Aegis for immortality, so.
I mean, the real idea is, like, you catch the Weaver, you drag him in, you kill him once, like you said, and then when they come to save him, you drop the Warlock ult with the Phoenix Egg. So you drag them into a bad position, but that's assuming they chain everything perfectly and there's no Venge swap. It's a tall order. It's a combo that EHOME can pull off, but if Execration are in position with their Venge, with the Slardar counter initiation, it could turn into a disaster real quick for EHOME.
It looks like Nando's going to walk right up and just look at the damage he does to this range Rax.
Hey guys, how's it going?
That's 4 or 5 hits and he takes the range Rax from full to pretty much, I'd say, 30% HP. Now they'll go with the Moonlight Shadow, but there is a sentry there. Nando will get caught. They have the Stormhammer. They'll jump in. Counter initiation from R, and there's the Golems come through.
And it hits everyone. That's a big combo with EHOME. Ultimate number 2. It's the Refresher surprise. Can EHOME turn the fight on the back of this Chemo? Still moving in. The Phoenix Egg committed. Run! The Golems are coming. Execration cannot take this damage.
If they can get out, though, without losing much more, that's still a great exchange, I think, for the most part. Execration lose their offlaner and their support, but that's it.
Double buyback. You just go right now.
Yeah, you wait for the Golems to despawn, and then
they're gonna be done pretty soon, and you can potentially just bring them down if there's no heroes in support. So I think Execration, immediate repush. They didn't lose their Aegis. They didn't use the cheese.
Yes, that's huge. Huge for Execration. You talked about it earlier. Having a fight with Aghanim Scepter Golems and not really getting anything out of it.
You're not taking that fight, buddy.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage. You need to be careful. Oh my God!
If they die to these Golems, that is a massive lost opportunity.
That's Throw Central almost if he goes down, and he's very low, 100 HP. Don't lose your Aegis just for Golems. Nando is walking a tightrope.
That was played it way too close. A couple more Flaming Fist procs there, and he wastes that Aegis. But he does have the Butterfly to work with, I guess, banking on the evasion. And Nando did the math in the end.
Blink Dagger now for the Juggernaut. He has the cheeses we've talked about. They're full health, and this time, no Warlock Golems for 80 seconds.
No Egg for 25. This should be almost a guaranteed free lane.
They have Glyph, but that's it really at this point. They do so much damage so quickly. You watch Nando come in and he'll hit this a couple of times to get it to roughly 75% HP, but there's the lasso. They'll bring in RR, but they immediately Ethereal Blade him. The Stormhammer will go, but he's done. They even get the upheaval, but here comes Abed with that Omni Slash. Ghost Scepter will come through, but
Working on
Abed,
old chicken, he pops the cheese, but he's taking too much physical damage, has to back away. May have overplayed his hand here. Can they chase him down? The egg gets dropped. Omni Slash though. Nando getting focused, but he time lapses it off. He still has the Aegis Spellball. 2 Hero Stun comes in from Ice Ice Ice. They turn back for Chemo. Can they bring down at least the support? Mirana will get the kill. Warlock buyback. They're going deeper.
They want Ice Ice Ice. They'll find him. He doesn't have buyback. Death for 88, and they find Fenrir as well. Not to mention they got the Rex. No, EHOME's being pushed back into the well. They're being destroyed. It's going to be a triple kill for Nando. This might be
Ubosyan, Execration, diving in deep, finding the kills, and pushing EHOME to the absolute brink. The thing is, Mott, this is not a very good high ground base defense lineup just because the cooldowns are so long. Sure, you can win one team fight, but how do you push after that, even if they manage to find it? This one is all but in the bag.
Yeah, you look at it right now, and the Bat Rider just gets blown up between Nando and Abed, and Fenrir is actually going to get bloodlusted back into the well, and there it is.
And GG!
GG! First game of the wild card.
Goes not to EHOME, but to Execration. Who would have thunk it, and who would have thought it would go the way it did?